I got a haircut. It's not my favorite, but it's whatever. It's looking nicer as it's starting to grow out a little bit. We're rolling anyway. What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way, and welcome back to the Bootleg Pokemon Challenge, as I have been calling it. Where is my bag? There we go. It was hanging up, actually, where it was probably supposed to be. Alright, but yes. In this, I draw a bootleg Pokemon out of this little bag, and we then go over to a digital drawing and create a Pokemon like OC style character, just kind of a unique Pokemon based off of the bootlegged nature of them, or just inspired by something else surrounding the Pokemon, right? Or just random. It's it's a mixed bag as much as this is a mixed bag. So at that though, this is just a fun way to randomly select maybe a Pokemon that I wouldn't necessarily use, and they're fun to look at. So let's just dive right in. First selection. You. Ooh. Oh, it's Kyogre. That's just kind of a whale. It's purple though. That's pretty cool. Enhance. Alright. Well, we are continuing the newish trend of legendaries, it seems, in almost every episode. Alright. Selection number 2. Whoop. Whoop. What a... it's an extra drill! Kinda. Enhance! Oh, he's seen some shit. Oh, he's not happy. This is a very, very evil Excadrill. He's so serious and not at all the colors that he's supposed to be. Well, okay then. Alright, and final selection for today. Boop. Aurora! Auroris. Auroris? Yes? It doesn't look all that bad. Enhance. It's nothing particularly special. Its eyes are... It doesn't look all that bad, all things considered. Alright, so this is an interesting assortment. I forget where Auroris comes from. Is this a Gen... oh gosh. 6 Pokemon? 6. Look it up. Excadrill, that's Gen 5, right? And Kyogre is obviously Gen 3. This is my gen. Interesting assortment. Definitely a bunch of different types. I don't think any of them share a typing, because this is an ice type. Ground steel? Yes, and water something. Have to look it up. But yeah, alright, interesting assortment. I'm going to try and figure out these 3, and I will let you know what I've done in the Speedfan voiceover. So I'll see you there. So, whatever order I picked out these 3 in, I decided that I would actually leave the biggest mon for last this time. Also, I just instantly forgot which order I pulled them. But the legendaries keep being in kind of an awkward place where I feel like they should really finish off the group, be the big spectacle, and since they don't seem to want to leave me alone lately, I decided to push Kyogre to the back of the list for this one. So we're starting with Excadrill. This group was especially random with no connection, not uncommon with this series, but this Excadrill actually got me onto an idea. I decided to do a theme. See if you can pick it up before I announce it. Since Excadrill is an underground mole sort of Pokemon and the bootleg had a very dark color scheme, I started thinking how cool it would be to have more bioluminescence in Pokemon. The fish obviously can have it, but it's not quite as common in the land-dwelling Pokemon. You got some exceptions like Umbreon. So what if there was an Excadrill that lived in deep caves and rarely saw the sunlight? They'd probably be blind or mostly blind too. I decided against it having straight up no eyes though, but I depicted that by just filling in the whole eye with one color and no pupil. I went for light blue, another nod to the figurine, with some purple on the claws and the face. I wanted to evoke kind of Blacklight vibes, and fittingly I named this character Blacklight. I imagine she's a trainer's pretty serious powerhouse, as Excadrills tend to be anyway, but she obviously has problems seeing, especially above ground. Maybe she's like a dark-type trainer's fairy insurance. Imagine it's sort of like Blacklight Rave-style dark trainer. That would be sick. I think that's this Pokemon's trainer. Next up, we have the Auroris. I floundered on this for a moment before I realized, oh, I could have a theme, and thus I began today's theme. Place your guesses now, which seems to be darkness. Specifically, advanced darkness. No, but seriously. And this Aurorus already has a friend in another Pokemon that I made with similar theming, my Northwind Suicune. Because Aurorus is also an ice type, it made sense to make another kind of Arctic winter-inspired variant. This one has a darker scale pattern on the top, and a white belly for like reflected snow, so he looks like the night sky complete with a green aurora. Back during the huge solar storm this summer, the first auroras I ever got to see in real life, well, through the more exposed phone camera in my case, were green, so I wanted to impart that experience here. I feel like I've seen way more green auroras in pictures and stuff too, so it just made sense. For no reason other than just vibes, I named this boy Monarch. I imagine him like the former leader of an isolated herd of Arctic Aurorus, and unlike other variants, which apparently have a really high ratio of males, he was the only male in his herd and the only one with the coloring. This, in my mind, is yet another kind of legend-style ancient variety from a long past ice age, where the now fossil Pokemon either went extinct or adapted to the cold. Alright, and finally we have Kyogre. Kyogre is already kind of a creature associated with the dark depths of the sea, right? I mean, it's also inspired by an orca. So, what's left? Well, we have the Abyss. I'm talking the place with all the planet's creepy bioluminescent weirdos. I'd imagine maybe one or two other legendaries, or at least variants, could exist in drastically different environments for the sake of sort of splitting up responsibility, almost. Kyogre gets below the waves, Lugia just above, and this abyssal Kyogre, they get the trenches. I could even imagine this being sort of a ghost type. I let myself be inspired by the idea of a whale fall, so this Kyogre, along with having darker coloration, is a little bit more tattered and creepy. The finger fins get a little bit more length and attention here, get to be a little bit more ratty, and even more terrifying. Initially, I thought of naming this variant Hades or Styx, something more river-based and obviously, Greek-inspired, but I ultimately landed on Charon, the ferryman who takes you to the underworld for 2 pieces of silver in Greek mythology. Like their namesake, I'd imagine this Kyogre variant to be considered an oceanic reaper of sorts, taking the bodies and souls of the dead to the literal underworld of the sea, the deepest and darkest depths. Similar, again, to like a whale fall and, nourishing all of their subjects, I guess. Those are my Pokemon for this week. I love being able to get a little creepy sometimes. It's a favorite part of Pokemon and storytelling in general of mine. Taking something unassuming and adding a drop of dark reality just gives it a little bit more depth, I guess, which makes sense. A touch of dark will add more vibrancy to everything else, both physically in art and metaphorically. Also, it's nice to have a cohesive theme like this too. Give this video a like if you did like it, and tell me which Pokemon you liked the best. I'm really torn here, but Kyogre was the legendary in my first game, so I feel a little bit inclined to say Charon. You can also let me know what other fun art challenges you'd like to see me do, and subscribe to catch those in the future. That being said, I do have some plans for October already, so stick around for that. At that though, I'll leave this here, and I'll see you all next time.